Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing well and you've been practicing what we've been doing in the class. I see some of you are joined. Very few people have joined today. Why? I am sure others are also joining. So we'll wait for like 2 minutes for everyone to join and then start with a new topic today. Um, but I hope that things are clear to you for the previous topics and you've also gone through your study material. And of course, the lectures are available on YouTube. So whenever you want to see them again, things are available for you on the YouTube. You can go through the lectures again. You have previous lectures also. So you have ample of, the resources and the material to put for your studies. Komalpreet, you can. There's nothing against it. But usually your question always say that you were so and so, and you this is your designation, and then you have to write this email. Usually names are given to avoid any sort of confusion. Okay, most of you have joined. Okay. Good morning, everyone. So any other problems that you have from formal letters and formal emails that you would like to ask me now? Yes, you can. You can. There is nothing against it. Navaj Memon. Vidisha, I think it's not mentioned in the question. I think. But please go through previous year's questions for that. So your questions are basically on the same format, the way they are written, they're given in the practice exercise. So the questions are not very different from, I mean, like not the format is not too different from what is given in your book. So take a cue from there. And the another thing is take a cue from your previous year's questions and revision test papers and mock test papers. Basically, they are the best to tell you about what kind of questions can be asked. Mohar Shoaib, let me just check what you're talking about. I'll just check about that. Navaj Menon, you say that you're from Hindi medium. I understand, all of these topics become really difficult and fine, I'll explain you in Hindi a bit. आई नो ये टॉपिक्स बहुत सारे हैं आपके लिए समझने के लिए बट देन अगर आप स्टडी मटेरियल को देखेंगे तो वहां पर बेसिक से लेके एंड देन यू स्टार्ट मूविंग अपवर्ड्स तो अगर आप स्टडी मटेरियल को भी ध्यान से पढ़ेंगे और ध्यान से उसको मतलब क्लासेस को भी बार बार सुनेंगे तो आपको उसमें भी बहुत हेल्प हो जाएगी सेकेंडली स्टडी मटेरियल में जो क्वेश्चंस दिए हुए हैं और जिस तरह से क्वेश्चंस पूछे हुए हैं ज्यादातर क्वेश्चंस उसी तरह से आते हैं आपके लिए बस यही है कि आप थोड़ा सा हेल्प ले लीजिए थोड़ी सी कहीं से और लेक्चर्स को सुनिए और अपना स्टडी मटेरियल ध्यान से करिए आपके पास इनफ टाइम अभी भी है लाइक आज हम अगस्त में हैं एंड देन योर एग्जाम्स विल बी इन दिसंबर थोड़ी सी मेहनत कर लेंगे इट विल बी गुड फॉर यू और ऐसा नहीं है कि ये सब्जेक्ट जैसे मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ ये सब्जेक्ट सिर्फ एक 40 मार्क्स के पेपर के लिए नहीं है ये एक ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है जो आपको सीखना ही पड़ेगा लाइफ में इफ नॉट फॉर दिस एग्जाम अदरवाइज ऑल्सो आपको ये सब्जेक्ट करना ही पड़ेगा बिकॉज इसके बिना आप काम नहीं कर सकते आज की डेट में इंग्लिश इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट और एक ऐसी लैंग्वेज है जिसकी वजह से आप दुनिया भर में किसी से भी बात कर सकते हैं सो आपको थोड़ा सा मेहनत करना पड़ेगा और करते रहना पड़ेगा इसके ऊपर ताकि जब आप काम करने लग जाएं जब आप सीए बन जाएं तो आपको एक लैंग्वेज की वजह से किसी भी तरीके की रुकावट नहीं आए राइट So having said that, थोड़ा सा लेक्चर्स को ध्यान से सुनिए। तो पहले की भी बहुत लेक्चर्स हैं, इन्हीं टॉपिक्स पे हैं, अलग अलग फैकल्टी ने पढ़ाया हुआ है। जिसका भी आपको जो समझ आता है, गो थ्रू इट, ताकि आप उसकी अपने सब्जेक्ट की तैयारी अच्छे से कर सकें। Yeah, because of course I'm teaching English. I'm not supposed to use Hindi, but I understand there are few children who have no base in English as such, and I understand that they're not very well versed with English and they don't understand. So it's okay to explain sometimes in Hindi, but not every time. I can't do this every time. I have permission to use Hindi sometimes whenever somebody asks me to do. But from previous sessions, nobody asked me for Hindi, so I did not explain anything in Hindi much. Secondly, if I start teaching you in Hindi, this subject is of no use then. You will not get it. You won't be motivated only to study the subject. So if I start teaching you in Hindi, this is why I don't use Hindi at all. And I come from a background where Hindi is not allowed in classes when you're teaching English. So this is why I don't use Hindi, but it's not wrong to use Hindi to explain things. Bidisha, if in a question you have been given to write cover letter and resume, then start with cover letter, because cover letter comes first and then resume. Good morning, Palak. So, नवज मेमन, आई होप आपको थोड़ा हेल्प मिला हो, मोटिवेशन मिला हो ये सब्जेक्ट को पढ़ने के लिए। और ट्रस्ट में अगर आप ये कोर्स भी कर लेते हैं अच्छे से, यू विल गेट अ गुड आइडिया अबाउट द लैंग्वेज और प्रोफेशनल बिजनेस इंग्लिश एक्चुअली। What letter to editor are we talking about here? Can you tell me the page number, please? Show it. Oh, can you tell me the page number, please? That will be really helpful. Yeah, but somebody just mentioned the letter to editor is given in the study material. What letter to editor are we talking about here? Oh, are you talking about that on page wherein you have been explaining what kind of formal letters are there? And then there's the letters highlighting civic prompts. Are you talking about that? But I don't think an example, any letter to editor has been given. Is it? Because we are dealing with business and official letters here, not all the sorts of letters. I can't find letter to editor. Mention the page number to me, then only I can deal with it. But I don't think letter to editor would be given because we, like I said, we're dealing with official. 11.11. I'll just see that. Wait. 11 points. You guys have no questions from resume writing. What we did. Okay, question number 1. You are Mr. Pradeep Kumar, General Manager, Surbi Furnishings. You provide furniture, other furnishings to large businesses. Write an email to Naveen Bansal, proprietor, Chilsi, chain of restaurants offering your latest range of products at a discounted price in about what you do not understand in this. It's a sales letter. Yeah, that's what I said, Sadaf. But we are only dealing with official letters. So this is why only official letters have been explained. And besides that letter to letter, I'm sure you've done it in your school for years. Like for 2-3 years, you were studying the formal letters. Okay, now let's start with the new topic, which is meetings. Now, what are meetings? Why are we studying about meetings? What about the meetings? Yeah. So, what about the meetings? What do you understand by the word meetings? We keep hearing this. I have a meeting with so and so person. I have a meeting with so and so person. What does that mean? It's a discussion. It's a formal discussion. It's a discussion on topics to find conclusion and of any problem. That's good, Vishnu. Discuss some topic officially. Right. Any more responses? Taking discussion, formal group discussions. Okay. Anything else? Discussion. All right. So formal email is basically okay. So meetings is basically a formal or informal deliberative assembly of individuals called to debate certain issues and problems to take decisions. Now, let's break this definition. Formal and informal deliberative assembly. Now, what deliberative assembly means? Now, formal and informal, why do we say that? So, meeting can be formal, can be informal also. You've seen that, few people gathered together in informal way in a personal family matters also to discuss about, like, what next has to be done. If there is some family issue about maybe some property disputes or something, people do meet together and, to talk about it, what to do. So it can be formal. Formal is when it is in an officially office environment, when people and clients, you meet the clients meet you, or internal team meetings are happening. So formal. Informal is when you meet people informally. Maybe two colleagues also meet up to discuss things at their own level. That is also sort of informal, right? Now, deliberative assembly. Now, deliberative assembly, you know what assembly is? When few people get together, that's called assembly, right? Deliberative. You deliberately meet to discuss something. So it's a formal or informal deliberative assembly of individuals. So individuals come together to debate certain issues, problems, and to take decisions. So basically, you come and you brainstorm and you talk about certain issues and the problems, and then you basically meet to for aim of finding the decision or finding the solution to the problem. Are we clear? Yes. Any problem so far? What meetings is? Now, this can be held at definite times, at definite place, usually for a definite duration to follow an agreed upon agenda. Now, whenever there is a meeting, usually, now when we talk about formal meetings are held at formal meetings are held at definite times, at definite place. So basically, you have to inform the entire team or maybe people who are you meeting that, okay, we meet at this time at this place. And for, you usually know that this meeting will go on for how long. Basically, you don't have the entire meeting, right? And even if it is entire day, you know about it. Yes, you cannot have a meeting for indefinite time. That does not happen, right? You need to have, and then there is proper agenda of the meeting, that why we are meeting. So basically there's some problem, some project is going on, and there's a problem with the raw material, with sourcing the raw materials. Okay, and for that, the meeting has to be conducted with the purchasing team, the one procurement team, the one who has designed the product. Everybody has to come together and find out the solution for the raw material, because they're not able to find the raw material. So now the purchase team says that, we have so and so vendor, but they don't have the raw material available. So then you ask the person who is designing the product, that what is the alternative of this raw material? What else can be procured? Right? Then there is a price team, there's a finance team who comes in, that, this is our budget. So we can't exceed this budget. So even if there's an expensive alternative, that means the entire thing will change. So a lot of deliberations, a lot of discussions and everything. But with that, you have to find a solution and go on with the project. You don't want to delay your project. You don't want to stop your project in the middle. That's right. Yeah. So do we understand what meetings is? Like I said, deliberative assembly. Deliberative assembly is assembly of individual means when people come together at one place under one roof. Yes, at one place they gather together. That is assembly. Deliberative is like they meet with the deliberation with a conscious mind. You have to meet for this agenda, right? Of course, because okay. So one, yes, a meeting is generally uh, is done conducted to have a meeting together to find a solution to a problem or discuss whatever it is and for a specific time. It can go on beyond the specific time also, but can't be more. Like, for example, you call your boss for the meeting. Your boss doesn't have the entire day to discuss that. He might have more meetings to take up. He or she might have to go on with some other meetings, right? So the meetings usually have a time frame. And you can't spend the entire day just talking about things. You have to work also. Right? So this is why it is for the specific time. Right? Any problems so far? Can we again start? Yes, Sogan, I can see your message. I just explained your query. Vinayak, it is just meeting is it's very easy to understand though. Meeting is when people meet together with a specific mindset that they have to, talk about this agenda today and find out whatever outcome they need, desirable outcome within a specific time frame. Okay. And usually for a formal meeting, you always have a definite time, definite place, and a definite duration, which everybody agreed on, right? You can't just say, but okay, I'm going to hold a meeting today, but others are not free. Others might have other meetings lined up. So you have to basically take into account everybody's schedules before you conduct a meeting. Am I clear? Now, let's talk about the types of meetings. You can gossip wherever you want. So gossiping is I feel the part of your relationship with the people you're meeting. So gossips can happen anywhere. Okay. Agenda is the goal, objective of the meeting with Amy. What is your objective? Why are we meeting? Until I don't get your question. Where you're typing, there only you have to write the questions. All right, enough. I mean, you guys do the difficult topics in no time, and for such a basic thing, you've been asking me questions. I'm amazed. This is such a most easy thing, most easy definition I have discussed, and yet you have so many questions. And in earlier topics, there was no question at all. Okay, now let's talk about the two types of meetings. Look at the slide, please. Okay. Now, the two types of meetings are organizational meeting and operational meeting. Right now, how there are two types of meetings and how they're different from each other. Just read and go through the slide once, and then I'll explain. So organizational meetings are basically meetings that take place at definite time, usually with the same agenda, with some agenda and outcomes. Now, these meetings are in an organized way. They take with definite time and usually with some agenda now that you have to find out outcomes. Now, these meetings are happening usually between stockholders and managements. The example of such meetings are board meetings and annual general meetings. Now, these meetings are the meetings which happen at a senior level, usually, because now with such important people coming in, you need to have a definite time and a particular agenda and particular you should have in mind what kind of outcomes you want. And you usually know about the outcome because board meetings and annual general meetings are very general anyway. Yeah. And then stockholders and managements participate in it. Now operational meeting is something that happens. Now organization meetings doesn't happen like regularly, like every week or every month. These are meetings that happens at a specific time. But operational meetings are meetings that can be called anytime because they basically discuss about our regular working in the organization. So it's a regular or a ad hoc meeting. What time and agendas are not fixed basically. It can be conducted. Like today, I can say that let's have a meeting at 5 o'clock in the evening, right? Or maybe at 3 o'clock, I can say, okay, oh, if everybody's free, let's meet for a meeting, short meeting, right? So now these meetings are basically the type of meetings that you have within the committee, departments, and sections. Are we clear? This was easy, wasn't it? Now, wasn't this easy about the organization operational? So that these are the two types of meetings that we talk about. I'm just looking at a query box once, please. No, meetings are not for gossiping. I'm just saying that, sometimes when you're free and when the meeting is almost done, then people try to talk, gossip what things. Regular or ad hoc meetings means one is regular type of meeting. For example, I have a policy that every Monday morning, 9 o'clock, we all will meet and discuss about the last week and the coming week. That is a regular meeting. There's a regular meeting that will happen. Ad hoc meeting is when you do a meeting whenever it is necessary, right? So whenever I feel that, okay, let's discuss this, let's call the meeting. Okay, so that when it is created or happens for a particular reason, regular meetings are the meeting that happen every week or, one day or 2 days have been decided this day we will meet for this meeting. Okay, are we easy, clear? Now, why meetings happen? What is the purpose of meeting? Who will tell? Why do you think meetings are so necessary in an organization? Why do people meet? Why it is such an important part of an organization or any workplace? Quick. I need at least 2-3 points from you guys. This is the last chapter, and I hope you all actually open your study materials also. Those who are asking me this question, that means you have not opened your study materials yet. To address particular agenda, to get a solution of any problem, to discuss about the profit and loss regarding previous year, okay. For coordinating, very good. To set goal, meetings are necessary. Meeting is necessary for progression, very nice. to get information about what is going on. Very nice. Meeting. To set an objective, to discuss any matter, for new ideas, to brainstorm about new ideas, very good. To solve and discuss, to take a good decision, decision that has everybody's viewpoint and everybody's inputs. So it's better to take any decision. Like, obviously, if one person takes a decision, it is always better if I ask my team what can be done. And collectively, we can come up to one conclusion because everybody's working on it. Everybody will have a perspective. So you should listen to everyone before taking any decision. To frame policies, to take final decisions. See, to take final decisions, to frame policies. These are part of meetings because you will be meeting for a specific teams for this. To take final decisions, you have to have a meeting with finance team, accounts team. To frame policies in the office, you need to meet the HR team, right? So that is the agenda. And you know what is on your minds. For smooth working of organization. Very good, Mohammed. Ayan. All right. So let's look at my screens. I keep changing the designs because I don't like the same design all the time. So basically, this is why I keep changing and I keep experimenting. One second, guys. All right. So can you all read this? Is it readable for you all? Okay. So if you look at this, this tells you about that what all we do in our meeting and why meetings are so important. To resolve problems and issues faced while planning a task. Now, we meet to resolve the problems and issues whichever person is facing while planning a task. To chalk out new strategies to promote business or increase profitability. If you do not meet your team, how will you be able to think of how you need to promote your business? What new strategies you need to promote your business, how you can increase your profitability. If you do not work with your ground staff, you will never be able to find out, right? Then is to exchange the ideas and information. So again, such an important thing. It is so important to meet, and sometimes what happens is you are doing something, you may be very good at it, but at times you have a mental block and you don't know what to do. So when you meet your team, you discuss and you exchange ideas, you look at the other information, you are able to do the work better, right? So these three things are very important for the meetings to happen regularly. Then to ensure coordination on issues. Now, coordination and cooperation is very important, right? So if there is any issue, if you have a meeting together, you will be able to resolve it better. And then after the meeting, everybody will be on the same page. Everybody would know what has to be done. Are we clear? To announce, propagate a message effectively within a group or organizations. Now, you as head of the team, you have an announcement to make to your team. So meeting is a good way. And if you want something that you want something new to happen in your office, again, it is very good to have a meeting, because if you want to reinforce or enforce something in your office, you can have a meeting, discuss, and you have to tell that this has to be done as a head of the team or office. You basically just need to meet and tell people that, this is what I want us to have. Right? Then comes the coordination and cooperation is so essential for a successful meeting. Now, if people do not coordinate with each other or do not cooperate with each other, then you cannot have a successful meeting. To have a successful meeting, everybody has to come with an open mind, come up with, your problems, or come up with solutions, right? Must a common intention of achieving some goal or objective. Like I said, when people come to meeting, they should have a common objective in mind that, this meeting has to be successful. We should come out with some outcome. Like, of course, you're meeting for a purpose. So whatever the purpose is, you should have in mind, like everybody has to have in mind that, okay, this meeting has to have something productive. Right? Are we clear? Any problems that we have so far? Okay. Let me share it again. 1 second. Okay, now look at the screens. Now can you read? Now you can read it. And then we'll discuss if there's any problem. Okay, let's see if there is anyone who still has a problem. Nishi will discuss that. Okay, now you tell me then. Quickly tell me any. To chalk means to draw out any conclusion, to find out. Okay, now quickly tell me what all is required before we set up a meeting. What do we require before we have a meeting? What all do we require to before we set up a meeting or schedule a meeting? Agenda, okay, fine. Specific time, circular topic, okay. Group of people discuss, very good, Chanchal. Okay, so fair enough. Now let's look at this. Okay, the first is to select the right participant. Now, before we have a meeting, it is very important to have the right participant, which means the participants in the meeting have to be chosen with extreme care. You should not include the people in the team who are, not the part of the team, who are not working on the project, who are, you don't have to think that if I don't invite this person for the meeting, that this person will be offended. No, the meeting has to be done within the people who are actually working on something. They have an agenda to be part of that meeting. Don't invite people who are no purpose in this meeting. So to have a purposeful meeting, you need to have tell us you need to have people who have a reason for attending, who have a purpose to, who have a purpose, they have a point of view of that issue or agenda that is going to be discussed. Somebody who needs to know about what is is going to be discussed, or sometimes you invite your juniors also, who are basically not actively participating in the meeting, but eventually they have to work on that. So they should know what has been decided. Yes. So authority who's going to make a decision, so you invite these people. First is people who have a purpose. Second, they have a point of view. Third is somebody who needs to know what is going to happen in the meeting and what is going to be decided. Fourth is the P person who has an authority to make decisions. Somebody who can tell you, yes, go ahead, let's do this. And somebody, can actually take a decision. That is the, again, a correct participant. Someone who shares useful information. Somebody who has information about the issue, that how we can, resolve it. Somebody who can do the value addition. Value addition means somebody who can give you something productive, some insight that, this is what has to be done. And someone who can lead you to some conclusion. Now you need to see, are all these six things being used or, fulfilled by the people whom you're inviting? Yeah. Then only invite a person. So that is how you select the right person. Can you please tell me in your query box what is the basically criteria to decide the right participants? What have you understood? Requisite means something you beforehand you decide what all is important requirement for your, what is the circumstances, or what are your categories and criteria to invite to that meeting. She must have authority to decide. It is the person who has a purpose of attending, who has a viewpoint about the discussion. Like, for example, we are discussing about marketing of something, right? So, of course, you will be also calling the design team for it, because the design team will give you the inputs, the design team will tell you what has to be done, what not has to be done. Right? So somebody who has an authority to make decision, somebody who has a need to know, and another thing is somebody who shares useful information, they have a value addition to things. That was. Next is set an agenda. You need to have a specific agenda for this meeting, right? So agenda is basically the objective or a purpose. And you have to basically give a framework that defines the point of discussion. You need to know that in this, you can't just say, we're going to design a design of the product. What design? Yeah. So basically, you need to have an agenda that communicate the purpose of the meeting. Then you have a list of speakers and participants with yourself. Then you state the time allotted to each one of the speakers, right? So you have to chalk out the agenda very carefully that what are we going to talk about? One. Second, what is the time limit for every point of discussion? You need to define the point that, I'm going to discuss this in the meeting, right? So when we talk about only a design of product, what about design of the product? You have a problem with the colors, you have problem with the design, you want like the entire logo has to be changed, you want the packaging has to be changed. What are we talking about here? So you have to very clearly mention about it. Are we clear till these 2 points? Yeah. Okay. Now, rest of the 4 points will have quite a lot of discussion. So why don't we take a break for a while, for about like 5-7 minutes? Yes. And then move ahead with the rest of the points. Yes. So I should be back by 12:02 or 3. Okay. And then we'll, continue with it. Take a break. I know this has been a heavy lecture. All right. So we've discussed about that. Select the right participants and set an agenda, then send intimations to all participants. Now, either you circulate the information through a notice or a circular that should be sent out to all the competent authorities at least 2 3 days prior to the meeting. You cannot just, of course, there's some emergency meetings also, but if it's a decided meeting, then at least send it 2 3 days prior so that everybody is available for it and they have time to prepare, gather information and data what is required for it. So basically, they all can prepare for whatever meeting is going to happen. So they all have enough time to prepare for it. Send them intimations 2 3 days prior. It must have information about date, time, venue, names of the participants, agenda. Now, whatever the way you send the intimations to everyone, is it a circular, it's a notice, or it's a formal email? Please mention about date, time, venue, people who are participating, and the agenda of the meeting. Now, sorry, there are like 5 things, yes. So do mention about these 5 things before you send out these circulars. Right? Now comes the point, appoint a facilitator. Now, facilitator is appointed to guide the meeting to its logical end, conclusion. Now, there has to be one person who basically, conducts the meeting so that it goes towards the logical conclusion. Because what happens is at times 10 people or 12 people are sitting for the meeting. Sometimes when you start talking and you're discussing things, the things go haywire. Like, everybody is moving in a different direction. So there has to be one person who is not biased, who sits and gets the information and moves the direction of the meeting towards the outcome. That what is the outcome of the meeting for us? Are we clear? Yes. Now this person is basically helps to to the group to reach to the conclusion, right? Now he ensures that participants stick to the agenda. Now he keeps basically his focus is that everybody's sticking to the agenda. They are not talking about their own personal agendas or personal issues or separate issues from the agenda. So the responsibility of the facilitator is to basically bind everyone together and provide them a structure to process. You give them a structure that this is the thing happening, so you have to think along from these lines. Enables cooperative decision making. Now this person, now maybe two people might get a little aggressive and they might get offended with each other, they might get into a word tiff. So this one has to maintain the cooperation and coordination of the decision making power calmly. Ensures conflict avoidance and resolution. Now this one basically ensures that there is no conflict at the end of the meeting. Nobody has their own conflicts with each other, and the outcome doesn't have a conflict or controversial. It has to come up with you basically have to take the meeting towards the logical and meaningful end, productive end. All right. So are we clear? Now, next step is to arrive at clear conclusions or formulate next steps. Now, many times meetings fail to come to a clear conclusion about the agenda under consideration. Now, sometimes what happens is people meet together, but then nothing happens, towards the end, there is no conclusion, nothing happens, and there's no outcome also, right? So irrespective of the result of the meeting, members of the groups are accountable and committed to the resolution taken by them. After deliberation on an agenda topic, it is necessary to summarize what was discussed. Now, whatever happens, everybody has to, one of them have to, come up with a conclusion that, this is all of these points we have discussed so far. So now what next has to be done? Let's decide that. State lucidly if deductions arrived. Decide on further steps to be taken. So basically, somebody has to take an initiative to summarize the points then say what all we have, deductions, what all we have thought of, deleting from our process, and then what next has to be done. After the meeting concludes, a brief account of proceeding is prepared, known as minutes of the meeting. We will be studying about the minutes of the meeting. So after the meeting, a minutes of the meeting is being prepared, which is the summarizing of the conclusion and future course of action. Minutes of the minutes of the meeting basically that talks about the whatever was discussed in the meeting. Clear? Next come is create opportunities for creativity and participation. Now, you in the meeting, basically you have to create a structure. Now, in most meetings, what happens is it is stop centric. Basically, the higher management, they speak and the juniors only contribute with their inputs, right? In that case, there is a lack of free flow of ideas. People cannot talk. Nobody has an opportunity to speak. So, in that case, sometimes participants fail to contribute to their perspective and curbing their creativity. In such scenario, the purpose of the meeting is defeated. A meeting should be an opportunity to bring multiple perspectives into the room in order to collaborate, debate, decide, and perform the task assigned. Now, in the meeting is basically an opportunity for different experiences to come in and talk, collaborate, debate about issues, decide what has to be done, and perform a task. Right? Sometimes what happens is only the senior management is speaking and the juniors are only listening. In that case, the meeting fails because again, there is no room for opportunity. There's no room for creativity. Are we clear? Yes. Any problem so far? Are we clear about the requisites of the meeting? Jyoti Kumari, what do you mean by RTP and MTP solutions? What is your question? Can you please write the question clearly, what you're trying to ask here? Clear, clear, clear. Okay. Arrive point once more, Vidisha. Vidisha, so basically you need to arrive at a clear conclusion of the meeting at least, even if you're not able to, reach to the desirable outcome of the agenda. At least arrive at a clear conclusion that in the meeting we have discussed about, whatever discussions happened has to be clearly stated towards the end. Whatever steps that needs to be taken, that needs to be decided. Whatever things that we thought of deleting, that also should be very clear. Are we clear? Okay, now next is going to be talk about what is the need for agenda. Now we're going to be talking about Now we're going to be just studying about the format of agenda, how you actually basically write down and design the agendas. But for that, why do we need an agenda? Okay, wait, I will basically let you brainstorm first. You tell me what is the need of agenda. How is that going to help in a successful meeting? They will tell time to each speaker to clear about the idea about the objective. Okay, to stay focused and not deviate. Okay, fair enough. Now, need for agenda is that okay. Need for agenda is basically that one, we needed to state the objective and the purpose of the meeting very carefully so that people who are reading it, they understand what this meeting is about. Okay, so state the objective and purpose of the meeting very clearly. That is a need for the agenda. Then you enumerate the issues and topics to be discussed. Basically, you point wise, you tell the issues and topics that needs to be discussed, right? So enumerate means number them. Like, number one, we'll discuss this. Second, this. Third, this. Priority wise, decide what has to be discussed in the meeting. Keep the meeting focused on the issues prevents the speaker to deviate from the issue. Now, if you keep the meeting focused on the issues, that prevents the speakers to deviate from the subject and issue stated. Sometimes what happens is when you come for the meeting, on everybody's table, the agenda is already printed and put it there. So that nobody deviates from the topic. Everybody is focused to, find the solution or to talk about the thing. Are we clear? To guide the participants to understand and prepare their roles, to guide so that you guide the participants that what needs to be done, what is your role, why you are here for the meeting. Then you talk about the allotting the each time to each speaker. Now, if you've invited so many people, you need to give them chance to speak also, no? And it can't be a fish market kind of situation where everybody's finding chance to speak. No, there has to be a proper flow of meeting that you need to decide so that there is no conflict, there is no controversy, and yet you're able to find an outcome. It forms a sequence in which the members will speak. You need to basically tell them in the sequence will speak. Are we clear? So these agendas are usually circulated before the meeting, and sometimes the printout is there on the table as well, so that nobody misses it, right? Nobody takes an advantage and starts speaking on their own without listening to other person, right? So this is the need for the agenda. Otherwise, if you don't have the agenda, the meeting won't be successful. Everybody will end up fighting, right? Because there's so many people. So you need to give them direction. You need to give them the flow of the meeting. And then you have to make sure the meeting is successful also. The meeting is not just to meet and have a cup of tea and then go back without any solution. You have to have an aim in the mind that the meeting has to be successful. I have to find the solution or outcome for the topic that we're discussing. Are we clear? Any problems still here? Now I'm going to start with how you write the agenda. I'm waiting for everyone to think about it. If there's any problem, you can ask me now. And then we'll move ahead. Jyoti Kumari, you can find it on the website. The study material section. You can find everything there on the website, on the ICI's website. Word limit for meeting, what does that mean? Gia, we're talking about a proper meeting where people are talking to each other. We are going to study about agenda and minutes of a meeting, how to write them. One-on meeting is one-on-one. Like if you and I are having a meeting, that's one-on-one. Okay, now let's look at objective and the purpose. Means like what are we going to discuss today? So we need to discuss the budget of the project. The costing is going higher. That's what we need to discuss. Are we clear? or to discuss about the issues in the manufacturing. We're not able to, we feel that we won't be able to deliver within the timeline. That is a problem. So we need to have a meeting to discuss that. Brainstorming is when you talk and to find out, so basically either a new idea to execute for the particular thing in mind, or to find out new ideas. Basically brainstorming is to find out new ideas, new solutions, new way of doing the things. Okay, now you look at this very carefully. Okay, now this is an example of tabular form of agenda. So go through this first and then we'll explain. Look at the topics and look at how it is written, and then I'll start to explain. Because I realized when I start explaining, since you don't know what is there, you don't understand. Go through the headings, go through what is written, and then I'll explain you what it is. Okay, now look at this tabular agenda. This is how agendas are made, right? For any meeting, for any seminar, for any webinar, for any kind of meetings that we do, right? This is basically when we are doing, this is the general agenda. Now, even if it is, any meeting in a school, that's how the agendas are made, because we have various speakers talking about it, right? Then, so we have 9 a.m. introduction will start at what this entire meetup is about. The name of the participants, name of the speaker, 15 minutes this person is going to speak. Then comes the discussion and upcoming strategy for launch of new product, names, speaker, 30 minutes. Project report, this is this. Market trends, details of costing, open house, thank you note. So you have basically this agenda is for meeting with many people, that we have called a lot of people, and we are going to discuss about a new strategy for a launch of new product. Now, this is a very fresh meeting, And so this is why we have various people participating here. And we will have a discussion about the market trends, the costing. Open house means that the people who are attending can ask questions that what are we going to do in this, right? Now, this is an internal meeting of an organization, this kind of agenda. But this is a very, with a lot of people, many people in the organization who is attending this. Okay, it's not a very close knit one. Are we clear? Do you understand? This is very easy also. You just have to give a time limit, the topic, who's attending, who's the speaker, and duration. That's it. But another kind of meeting agenda that we have is the two templates. One is that agenda, then this is for the meeting. Now, this meeting can be of this is of another type of meeting. Now you talk about the objective. Then you have date, time, and location where this meeting will happen. Then now agenda items. Agenda items are now call to order. Now, what is call to order? Call to order is basically to formally open the meeting, formally start the meeting. Okay, so basically you give an introduction and the meeting basically starts. So who's going to start this meeting? So basically this is a sequence given, not the duration. It is just a sequence given that who's going to do what. Now in a particular meeting, how basically this works. Next comes this pledge of allegiance. It is basically basically you talk about that everybody is going to obey to the rules and regulations, and everybody is going to talk about it, and everybody will follow the rules. Okay, then comes the welcome introduction. Then you basically, somebody tells the welcome and the given introduction to what this meeting is about, and you basically extend your welcome to everyone. Then roll call. Roll call is basically when you talk about who all is there to attend the meeting. So you basically introduce that this person is there from sales team, this person is there from marketing, this is from the design team, and you give a list of this, and especially you does a special emphasis on people who are here especially for the meeting, or maybe they're notable in terms of the designation. Right, then we talk about the approval of previous minutes, meeting minutes. Now in the last minutes, what was discussed, now the old business in the new business. Now additions to agenda, what are we going to talk about here? Calendar is basically now what next, when next we're going to have a meeting. Adjournment means that what happened towards the end. Basically you end the meeting, the meeting is over, this is what we have decided. Are we clear? So this is another type of agenda, and that is another type of it. Any problem so far? I know this is a little confusing, but still, any problem? Will the attendance change for every topic? No. But but yes, maybe some people attend meeting for a specific reason, for a specific topic, and then there is no use of them to stay, and they change. And some people come specifically, some people say that we will only be there for 10:30 topic or 11 o'clock topics. You can actually mention their names. I joined this to end the meeting, but your meeting is over. And this is what we have discussed. So briefly, you talk about it. This is what we have discussed so far. Yeah, I know. Tabular is more easy. All right. So now time for practice. Okay, this is it. Minutes of the meeting will start in the next class. I'm not touching this today. I want you to practice for agenda. Okay, question number 3. As the chief of the staff of Director Finance, prepare a tabular form of agenda of an upcoming meeting. The agenda is to discuss a new merger with a foreign client. Your company is in the telecom sector. Now you tell me how the agenda will be made. Very easy. You have to do it with the tabular form, basically. Okay, as a chief of staff to Director Finance, prepare a tabular form agenda of an upcoming. So tell me, what all things do you think will be discussed in this when the new merger is happening with a foreign client? When two people are combining their companies, they're from a telecom sector, what all do you think will happen? What changes will take place? What good things will happen? So what all do you think will be discussed in this? Call to order introduction means introduction is when you introduce that this is a meeting about what is this meeting about. You welcome everyone. Call to order is okay, guys. For such a thing, you don't ask for everybody's opinion because this is a senior management's decision. But I appreciate Harshita's efforts. I appreciate Namanpreet, Anjali. Harshita, I read the queries in one go. You don't have to send me like 20 times the same thing. You know what happens is when you guys send something for 20 times, we miss reading about somebody else's query because that gets lost in your queries only. Like, for example, Yemen. So you discuss basically the stakes. You talk about the mergers. What are the, basically reason behind the merger? How two synergies can be built and how two people are coming together to build a bigger thing? What is the goal? How big somebody wants to be? And what is going to be the plan of action? How there's going to be announced in the media? See, that all of that you need to discuss in the agenda. Let's just look at the answer. Now here, now you basically discuss about so introduction is given by the finance team director. Then there's a discussing about merger team. Then there's a discussion on growing telecom industry, technology upgrade discussion that how we're going to upgrade our this thing. Then you can talk about more things. You can basically talk about it, how you can market it, what is the marketing plan, how we're going to launch about this merger, how this is going to benefit both the parties who are going to merge this thing, all of that, right? So you just, and in your exam, you can just make up things. You don't have to write attendees and speaker. If the speaker, just say director finance, marketing team, so and so team. That's it. And duration. Are we clear? Now, if you see there is a specific duration of the meeting, which is like starting from 8:30 to 10:30, roughly this meeting is going to finish in 2 hours. Yeah, and that is what you can't just sit for like 10 hours for a meeting, right? So that is a lot anyway. So you finish your meeting right there. Are we clear? Any problem so far so that I can wait and ask you guys, and then I'll give you a brief about the other things. Just make up names or just write ABC, XYZ, PQR, whatever you want. The idea is examiner should know what you are going to write. Or you can write the designations. Basically, if more, just to be more smart, you can talk about that this announcement is going to remember, of course, a finance person or marketing person. So just about that. Call to order is basically when you talk about the meeting agenda overall. Okay, so call to order is basically when the chairman comes and starts the meeting and usually declares what is the agenda of the meeting in a brief. Now, then there's a pledge that everybody's going to obey the rules. Then there is a welcome introduction of the people, which in general. Then there is a roll call that who all is there with us in the meeting. Now, for example, the juniors are sitting and they don't know about the main management. So you introduce the main management to them that today we have the head of sales, head of marketing with us, the president, vice president, all of this, they are here with us for this meeting. Right? So you basically discuss that and you take their names, you welcome them also. Right? Yeah, obviously participants' names won't be given to you in the question. How can somebody give you so many names in the question? Okay, great. So everything is clear to you till now? You know what meetings are, what to be required for a meeting, why meetings happen, and then we study about the agenda, what is the need of the agenda, and how you frame the agenda. Right? Now, if you see the agenda was clearly stated in this table that what all is going to happen in the meeting, you're not going to make group of people sit together and now say, okay, you can talk whatever you want. No, there is a proper agenda so that nobody digresses from the topic. Nobody basically changes the topic and starts something else. Now, if you have such a clear agenda ready with you, nobody will deviate from the topic. They have their own specific time to speak. Another thing is, I'll just share the agenda with you once. Oh, gosh. Now, in such a thing, you see that everybody knows what they have to talk about. So they obviously decide from the beginning that what all they need to talk about. Right? So they already have the topics ready. This is what I'm going to talk about. So they do their homework from their thing and then come to the meeting so that no time is wasted. Secondly, you know that you will only get 20 minutes to speak your mind. So you prepare your words, you prepare your matter accordingly. Am I clear? You don't change it again and again. Is that okay? Now, in this case, this is why agendas are so important. Now, people who are attending, they also know what they're going to expect. Now, what happens is whenever there are formal seminars and webinars that happen between the professionals, such agendas are shared with everyone because nobody wants to waste their time. The people who thinks that this meeting is going to be relevant for them, then only they come and attend it. Otherwise, they will not come. Right? So such agendas are already made and circulated to the attendees also, so that they can make up their mind and say that, okay, we would like to attend this. Otherwise, people don't want to come if they don't know what is going to happen. How will they come and how will they decide? No professional is so free to attend seminars and webinars that won't be useful to them. Right? So that is how the agenda is prepared for them also. So this is in general, this is how agendas are prepared. Right? Okay, now open house. Let's discuss the problems, anything that you have not understood so far. We have only 9 minutes left. I don't want to basically start a new topic and then end it in the middle, because our class is after a week. Our class is on 17th. So I don't want to start something today that uh, we won't be able to complete. On an average, these questions are just for 4 marks or 5 marks. And your questions from your grammar and your vocabulary, I think that is for one mark. For communication also, you get 2 mark questions. For writing skills, I think you get 3 or 4 mark questions. Namanpreet, I can't decide, because you get questions from, I think, from any chapter. Everything is important. And writing skills are all about the language, actually. So if you're able to write good, you'll be able to do any kind of writing skill. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I think so. You might get a question. Okay, quick recap. What are the requisites of the meeting? What all is required? What all you need to keep in mind for the meeting? And what all is a requirement for to have a successful meeting? Quickly. Start from the beginning, go logically, that what all you need for a meeting from start to finish. Set an agenda, all right. Select the right members. Send intimation to all the participants, very good. Appoint a facilitator, good Saloni, good Om. Create opportunity for creativity, very well. Very nice, guys. So yes, this was it. So basically you select the right participants, you set an agenda, send intimation to all participants, appoint a facilitator, arrive at a clear conclusion, and create opportunity for creativity and participation. The meeting should always be both-sided. Never ever have a meeting which is just one-sided, wherein the just top management comes and then talks, and then it goes away. No, it doesn't help that way. Unless you include people in the part of the team, how will they feel part of the team and how will they work for it? Yeah. So do that. And that is a very important part of meetings. I'm sure people start doing that. Arrive at clear conclusions is, even if you found a solution or you've not found a solution, at the end you should know what all has been discussed, what were the problems and why we were not able to get to the conclusion, and why we need to sit together again to find a solution. Sometimes it happens, the problems are so complicated, in one go you cannot find the solution to the problems. So it happens sometimes, 2-3 meetings takes to find the problems and then solutions. But at the end of the meeting, nobody should be confused. At least you should know what all has been discussed and what were the whys and whats and hows were discussed around it. Are we clear? Any problems so far, guys? Let me know how was today's session. Was everything clear to you? Have a nice day to you too, Ayush. Anything that you want me to discuss again? All right. So you have a great week ahead. I'm going to meet you next on 17th. I don't know why there's a 1 week gap, but nevertheless, we'll meet and we'll discuss about something very important, which is minutes of the meeting. That is part of every professional circle and every professional meeting. So we'll be discussing that. I didn't want to touch it today because then I would have to leave it in the middle, right? Okay, it's not clear, it's clear. Shui Chiang, it's Clear, not Claire. Clare. No, you jumbled the letters. All right, so I'll see you on 17th now. Please, till then, practice, go through all the topics. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now from any chapter you want. I'm sure you will, Yamin, and you'll do very well in your first ever real meeting in life. So all the best for that. And this is why we are preparing you for that. This is why ICI has been taking such a beautiful initiative of introducing this topic to you guys. Right. All right. Bye-bye. Have a good day ahead and have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.